evening, children. Today we are going to discuss about the new chapter, our environment. So we are discussing about new chapter that is called our environment. So what is environment? That is important. So first, before going to the environment, we want to go little information about our Earth. We have to gain information about Earth and solar system. So first of all, in our solar system, life exists only on Earth. So life exists only on the Earth. So you know very well. So various physical conditions required to sustain life occur only on Earth. Physical conditions required to sustain life on the Earth. What are the physical conditions sustained here? Temperature, air, water, soil, etc. Due to these favorable factors, different types of plants and animals are flourish on the Earth. Because of this air, temperature, water, soil, different plants and animals are living on the Earth. So now what I am telling is, here the continuity of life on the Earth is the result of interaction of these physical factors. Why life is continuously going on? Because of these temperature, air, water and soil interactions. Okay. So physical factors within the living world, these are the very important. The physical factors are like temperature, air, water and soil are very important to life on the Earth. So every living organism is affected by its surroundings. So compulsory every living organism affected by its surroundings. It will react with the temperature. It will be affected with the air, water and soil. So compulsory air, water, temperature are required. So living beings and physical factors, living organisms and physical factors together together constitute our surroundings or environment. So living organisms and physical factors, temperature, air, water and soil together forms environment. So environment can be defined as how can you define the environment? It's a physical, biological world where we living and non-living components. Where we living, where the living and the non-living, where the living and non-living components are there, in the sense that is called environment. Physical, biological world where the living and non-living components means nothing but biotic and abiotic components are there, in the sense that is called environment. So without becoming an integral part of them, so environment affects organisms. Environment affects the organisms without what is called integral part of them, but they will be affect that. Okay, there are two major components of the environment. What are those? Biotic and abiotic. So biotic means you know very well the plants, animals, and abiotic means you know very well air, water, temperature. So in both will be interact each other. Biotic, abiotic. Biotic will depend on abiotic, abiotic will depend on biotic. Like that in the environment is there. Now ecosystem. An ecosystem may be defined as a structural and functional unit of biosphere. Ecosystem means what? Structural and functional unit of biosphere. So biosphere comprising of living organisms and their non-living environment. So biosphere consists of living and non-living environment. So that's why they have food chains and biogeocycles. Gene flow will be, energy flow will be there, and also what you called biotic diversity and the self what you called supporting system. These all are there in the biosphere. Food chains, biogeochemical cycles, energy flow. Okay, these all are there in the biosphere and the ecosystems. There are two important basic processes involved in the ecosystem. What are the two important basic processes involved in the ecosystem? Number one, cycling of materials. So in the ecosystem, cycling will be there, biogeocycles. Exchange of materials between the living beings and the environment to maintain continuous supply of these materials to living being for a stability environment, for the stability of life on the earth. So continuous supply is a cyclic form, living to non-living, living to non-living, non-living to living. So those are called biogeochemical cycles, like a carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle, sulfur cycle, phosphorus cycle, iron cycle, like that, to maintain constancy of the life on the earth, the stability of life on the earth. So next one, flow of energy. So if we know food chain, the energy trapped by good green plants from sun is passed to the other organisms of the food chain. So food producers to consumers, consumers, primary consumers, secondary consumers. Like that, energy is trapped energy from the plants, it will go to the next trophic level. So there will be biogeocycles for stability of life, and for energy movement food chain also will be there. These are all the things most and important in the ecosystems. Biogeocycles, flow of energy important in the ecosystems. First, the term ecosystem, who given? That ecosystem given by A.G. Tansley. Okay, A.J. Tansley. Very, very important. Living and non-living togetherly will forms the energy system. Living and non-living will be there. So, very, very important concepts. These are the important things you have to remember. Okay, next, another important structure. What are those? The temporary ecosystem, artificial ecosystems, natural ecosystems. We have to discuss about these also. Natural ecosystem, artificial ecosystem, temporary ecosystem. Artificial ecosystem, natural ecosystem, temporary ecosystem. So what is artificial ecosystem? What is temporary ecosystem? What is natural ecosystem? That one we are going to discuss one by one. In this biosphere, ecosystems may be classified. Ecosystem may be classified on the basis of the nature, duration and size. Nature, duration and size. First, base of nature. Ecosystems are nature, duration and size. So natural ecosystem. Number one, grasslands, forests. Number one, what? Grasslands and forest. Natural ecosystem, grassland and forest. This is a very, very important. So these ecosystems operate by the nature only. These ecosystems operated by the nature themselves without the human interferences. Natural ecosystem will be formed. Common examples of natural ecosystem: pond ecosystem, lake ecosystem, desert ecosystem, grassland ecosystem, okay, forest ecosystem, oceanic ecosystem. Like that, nature only, what you called nature only, everything. Okay, operates the nature only. It is ecosystem operated by nature. That's why natural ecosystem. Forest, who is maintaining nature only. So that's why forest is the natural ecosystem. Come to artificial ecosystem. These are the maintained by man. Artificial means maintained by man. Hence are also termed as man-made or man-engineered ecosystems. These artificial ecosystems are called man-made or man-engineered ecosystems. In these systems, man maintains the what you called complete nature of balance of the and addition of energy and planned manipulations. Everything man under control. This artificial planning of energy, manipulations, okay, balance, everything under control of man. For example, common examples of these artificial ecosystems are cropland. So crops are there or not? The croplands, okay, and orchards, gardens, aquarium. The best example is what you call artificial ecosystem or man-made. The next one, on the basis of duration, temporary ecosystem. Next one is the temporary ecosystem and permanent ecosystems also there. The temporary ecosystem, laboratory. See, for example, you see temporary on the basis of duration and ecosystems. Now based on durations, long-term duration, short-term duration. See, for example, temporary ecosystem. The temporary ecosystems are the short-lived ecosystems which may be natural or man-made. So short-lived, natural or man-made ecosystems. So examples, rained pond. Okay, rain-fed pond is there or not? So that is a temporary rain-fed ponds. When the rain is there, then water makes the pond, rain-fed pond. And another important system is what you call temporary, the protozoans. Protozoans, culture of protozoans in the laboratory. When we required, we will use. When not required, we will discard that. So that's why the protozoans are temporary ecosystem. Permanent ecosystem, there are self-supporting natural ecosystems. Self-supporting natural ecosystems, they maintain themselves for relatively long duration. So long duration is ecosystems are self-made. They are example deserts and forest. So temporary ecosystem, culture of protozoans in the laboratories, okay, and permanent ecosystems, deserts and forests. Next, on the basis of size, On the basis of size also, there will be different ecosystem is there. What are the basis of size? Come on, what are the basis of size? Number one, small ecosystem, large ecosystem. That's it. Small ecosystem, large ecosystem. The small ecosystem, what you called, very very important, sized ecosystem are termed as micro ecosystem. So where we can see flower, okay, flower pot, a site under a stone, etc. Okay, these all are small ecosystems. What you called a flower pot, a site under a stone. Okay, small ecosystem. A flower pot is there or not? That one. Next, large ecosystems are, okay, what you called the large ecosystems. Very very important. Come on, tell large ecosystems. Example what? The forest, deserts. These all are comes. So large, very large forest. Okay, deserts. These all are large ecosystem. So there is a flower pot is a small micro ecosystem. Okay, this is the most important. Okay, a flower pot, a site under a stone. A flower pot, a site under a stone is small ecosystem. Large forest and deserts. Now, the components of ecosystems consist of abiotic components and what do you call biotic components. What are the abiotic components? So, abiotic includes non-living physico-chemical factors of the environment. Non-living physical chemical factors of environment. These components are not only affect the distribution and structure of organism, but also their behavior and interrelationships. Okay, their behavior and interrelationships also based upon these non-living abiotic factors. Abiotic factors includes inorganic substances and organic substances. Okay, in abiotic factor, inorganic and organic climatic factors also abiotic. So inorganic substances, come on, tell inorganic substances: carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, okay, calcium, phosphorus and their compounds, water, carbon dioxide, like that. Abiotic compounds, they occur in the form of compounds dissolved in the water, in soil, in free state in the air. So they will be dissolved state in the water and free state in the air. Come to the organic compounds. So these includes carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, nucleic acids. These are present in living organisms, even dead and dead bodies also, dead organic matter also there will be there. So main action of the bacteria and fungi mainly act on these organic materials only. Okay, next, climatic factors: light, temperature, humidity, rainfall. These all are climatic factors which affects the what you called climatic factors. These all are abiotic components which will depend on what you called biotic, and biotic will depend on these abiotic factors. Next, biotic components. Till now we discussed what abiotic components. So abiotic, inorganic, organic, environmental. Now come to biotic factors. Biotic, in the name itself, answer is there. What is the biotic? The living organisms. The living organisms are there in the ecosystem. The term biotic components. So, mode obtaining food. Why we are first and should in the biotic components? Always remember producers. Producers means plants, autotrophs. What are the producers? You know very well. They prepare their food by using simple organic compounds. See here, carbon dioxide, oxygen, carbon dioxide, water. You know, photosynthesis. C6H12 glucose is forming. Simple to complex glucose is forming. So, sunlight and chlorophyll. By using sunlight and chlorophyll, they are making glucose. You know, photosynthesis reaction. These are called autotrophs. There will be light energy sources there in the sense they will be called photoautotrophs. Okay, autotrophs, they can prepare their own food, but they won't depend on others for the food. That's why they are producers. Okay, what they will do, they will utilize the solar energy and converts into chemical energy. That's why these are also called solar energy converting into chemical energy. That's why these are called, what you called, transducers. What you called, transducers. Next, consumers. Consumers, heterotrophs. Okay, consumers means you know very well. They are mainly the animals. Consumers means they are mainly the animals, and they are unable to synthesize their food. They are animals, they are unable to synthesize their food. Therefore, they utilize materials and energy stored by the producers. So they are unable to synthesize. What they will do? They will depend on the producers for the energy. Okay, they are known as heterotrophs. Okay, they are known as heterotrophs. Following types: primarily first order consumers. So first order consumers, what? First order consumers, so you know very well, herbivores. Second order consumers, come on, first order consumers, herbivores. Herbivores means first order consumers: cattle, deer, goat, rabbit, rats, mice, grasshoppers are the common herbivores. Then second order consumers, you know very well. So second order consumers: cats, dogs, foxes. Okay, so like this. And secondary consumers in terrestrial ecosystem, and water bugs, water beetles, frogs. These all are the in the aquatic ecosystem secondary consumers. Tertiary consumers, you know very well, they are the large carnivores which feed on primary carnivores. The term as a secondary, which will feed on the primary secondary consumers. They are called tertiary consumers. Come on, what are those? Very important. The tertiary consumers, what are those? The wolves, snakes. Okay, wolves, snakes, like that. Quaternary consumers means they will be depend on second tertiary consumers, like what you called examples of land ecosystem: shark, crocodiles, examples in aquatic ecosystems. Lions and tigers on terrestrial ecosystem, tertiary, quaternary consumers. At last, what? Decomposers. This includes the bacteria and fungi. Very, very important. Decomposition is very important. The decomposition will be takes place by the which one? The bacteria and fungi. So dead bodies, the dead organic matter is converted to simple. They obtain food from the organic waste dead bodies and consumes their waste product. The decomposed degrades dead remain of plants and animals and vast organic matter into simple what you call organic molecules. So the inorganic substances, again they will be enter into the water. So recycling of the nutrients will be takes place by the help of decomposition. Even some chemical cycles also will be takes place because of this decomposition. Next, the decomposers which will be depend on dead and waste matter, dead organic matter, in the sense they will be called saprophytes. Okay, saprophytes. Not only the saprophytes, decomposers, quaternary, tertiary, even omnivores are there, parasites are there, detrivores. Omnivores means both flesh and called plant material they will eat. Parasites, they will live in the host and damage the host. Detrivores means earthworms, you know very well. They will be decompose the break down the detritus into small fragments, but do not cause the release of inorganic compounds. Okay, the smaller fragments left by detrivores are worked upon the decomposers. Then they will be decompose the dead materials. So detrivores means just makes the fragments. Then decomposers will come and makes the simple organic complex to simple like that earthworm best example. Parasites, omnivores, these are also there in the ecosystem. So like this, our environment first introduction will be there. What we discussed, what is the environment consists of solar system. In the solar system, a life is there only on the earth. The light, because of the what you call temperature, air, water and soil only, life is there in the earth, like plants and animals. Living organisms and physical factors together they called environment. The physical biological world where they live, that is called environment. Living and non-living components, biotic and abiotic components are there in the environment. Ecosystem, the structural and functional unit of biosphere. There will be food chains, biogeochemical cycles, energy flow. Okay, self-supporting system will be there because of these all reactions in ecosystem. In ecosystem, there will be two important structures. What are those? Cycling of materials. There are two basic processes involved in the ecosystem. Basic cycling of materials, biogeocycles, flow of energy. Okay, so carbon cycle, iron cycle, nitrogen cycle, like this. Flow of energy, food chains. Okay, the term ecosystem first proposed by A.G. Tansley. So there are different types of ecosystems: natural ecosystem, grassland, forest, artificial ecosystem, aquarium, temporary ecosystem, laboratory culture of protozoans, permanent ecosystem, desert, forests. Okay, and small small ecosystems, large ecosystems, flower plot. We call a flower pot, very very important. The small ecosystems means the flower pot will be there, a site under a stone. A flower pot, a site, under a stone will be there, and the large ecosystems, what deserts, forests, like that. And the ecosystem consists of components, what you call abiotic components, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, organic components, proteins, lipids, climatic factors, light and temperature, rainfall, humidity. These all are very important to biotic components. Biotic components, producers, autotrophs, photosynthesis reaction, photoautotropes. They will utilize the solar energy to produce chemical energy, and they are called transducers. And consumers are there, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, quaternary consumers, decomposers, saprophytes, omnivores, parasites, retrievers, like that. Biotic components, abiotic components are there in the ecosystems.